Now, let me see where I should begin. I had open heart surgery in 1993, I think it was. Had 6 bypasses. And after I got out of the hospital, and I was at home recuperating, and I went to bed one night, and I asked the Lord if I really had a place in heaven. And somehow it either was a dream or out of body experience or whatever. It seemed like that Elsie and I were standing in a foyer of the church, and I think it was a church. It seemed like I saw people that I knew, and then all of a sudden, way up above, there was a little flicker of light. Then all of a sudden, the light just came down. The light just came down and shone down. It lit up everything. It wasn't so bright that you couldn't see. And about that time, Elsie grabbed me by the arm, and we began to float. It seemed like we were floating over fields of flowers. It was humongous and different colors that I had never seen. And the aroma of this was so sweet smelling that I just can't describe it. And there was, in these fields, which they looked, by the way, like ocean waves. They were just going like this here. And saw all these stone fences, and saw stone cottages, and we kept floating for a little while, and all of a sudden we stopped over a stone cottage, and it had a number on it. I can't remember the number. It was like a three-digit number on the gatepost, and I heard this voice say, "This is yours." And in a little while, I began to hear some chimes, and then it turned into be my alarm clock. And it woke me up, and it was morning, and I sat on the edge of the bed, and I looked around, and I said, I'm home. And the next night, I prayed. I said, "Dear Lord, take me back where I was last night in the dream or out of body experience or whatever it was." And it never happened, and it hasn't happened since. But I think a couple of years went by, and I thought of it a lot of times, but I really didn't tell it to a lot of people, because sometimes people say, "Oh, you just something you ate or something, and this and that, and maybe some medicine you took and your chemical reactions and what have you." And so I just didn't tell it to a lot of people. But I was watching television, and Pastor John Hagee, which I know that a lot of you have seen. John Hagee, he was telling a story that happened. That he was visiting this 12-year-old girl in the hospital. She was dying of cancer, and he was on one side of the bed, and her parents was on the other side of the bed, and said all of a sudden the little girl sat up and said, Daddy, says, look out there, can't you see them? She said, the most beautiful big colored flowers and such beautiful stone fences and stone cottages. And cold chills just went up my spine. I said, oh man. And when he said, "No, honey, I don't see them." He said, she said, "But Daddy, they're there. Can't you see them?" And she laid down and went on to be with the Lord. And to me, that was a confirmation that I had been in heaven in my dream or vision or whatever you want to call it. And that's been several years now. Of course, I'm closer to going home than I ever was today. But anyway, that's the story behind that. I know that as long as I keep on the right path and not stray from God and keep Jesus in my heart, keep them alive in my heart, that I have a place in heaven and it's prepared for me. But he said, I'll go and prepare a place for you, because in my Father's house are many mansions. And he said there's many mansions, but I don't think everybody's going to get a mansion. But there's, listen, I'll settle for a stone cottage in amongst a field of beautiful flowers with a sweet smelling aroma. As long as I make it up there where I'll be able to see Jesus and be with him. So that's the story. That's the story about my experience of seeing a bright light and then floating above the earth over these fields of flowers and seeing these stone fences and stone cottages, and then hearing this little girl that was dying, which she did pass on, saw the same thing that I saw. So that's it. I hope this blesses you, and so I'll say God bless you to everyone that sees this. Bye-bye.